Hi, my name is Haley and I have the first question. So, in Texas, what is the average age of women who obtain abortions and what's the national average and what about those after 20 weeks? So, according to a document from the Texas Human and Health Services, the average age of women who obtained an abortion in Texas was about 27 in the year 2020. And they also state that for those after 17 weeks or more, it was only about 1% that made up those abortions. And for the national average, I found multiple websites that kind of had the same age range. No website had like a very specific age, so I just took the average from what I saw, which is about 25 years old. So the average age of a woman getting an abortion in the US is 25, and according to the CDC, 6.2% were performed at 40 to 20 weeks gestation, and even fewer than 1% were performed greater than 20 weeks, or 21 weeks.
Number 2 is, what is the status in Texas regarding RU486? Abortion is banned in Texas after a fetal heartbeat has been detected, which is typically around 6 weeks. The only exception to abortion is when the mother's life is in danger. There's no exceptions for like rape or incest.
Planned Parenthood helps provide many different services such as abortion referrals, birth control and morning after pill, primary care, women's and men's health care, pregnancy testing and STD testing or treatment, patient education, and transgender hormone therapy. Planned Parenthood also helps teens, parents, and educators when going through certain life-changing situations or when trying to provide the best solution for a loved one. There are multiple main misconceptions about Planned Parenthood, and the top 5 major misconceptions is that abortion is the most popular service Planned Parenthood provides. Planned Parenthood only provides services to women. Planned Parenthood is just for wealthy women. Defunding Planned Parenthood would be good for taxpayers, and teenagers are being indoctrinated by Planned Parenthood to have sex at a young age. Abortion is not the main or only reason that many women walk through the door to receive health services. The main reason that people visit a Planned Parenthood are for contraceptive access, which is 31%, and STI or STD testing and treatments, which is 45%. Planned Parenthood is also believed to only provide services to women, but even men can get health services at a Planned Parenthood if needed. Men can visit Planned Parenthood clinics for prostate, colon, and testicular cancer screenings, as well for sexual health screenings. Although not many men go to a Planned Parenthood or are seen at a Planned Parenthood, they can still receive these services. Planned Parenthood is misconceived because many people tend to believe that services at Planned Parenthood are only for wealthy women. Roughly 75% of Planned Parenthood's patients have income at or below 150% of the federal poverty level. Planned Parenthood helps make access to preventive health care a lot easier for people who work long hours and don't have health insurance compared to those who do. The fourth reason is believed to be that by defunding Planned Parenthood from federal funding, it would benefit taxpayers, which this is not the case. What most people don't know or don't realize is that without necessary and low-cost health care available at Planned Parenthood, Medicaid spending would actually go up for the federal government and taxpayers. Defunding Planned Parenthood would cause Medicaid spending to increase because the majority of women who go to a Planned Parenthood mainly seek contraceptive services. Lastly, Planned Parenthood is doing their best to help support women and teenagers by providing information to educate about sexual activity. Also to help people know that there are many different options available to choose from and that he or she will always get support and feedback when being in a difficult situation that can impact his or her life.
The federal government has seen to give government grants and Medicaid reimbursements to Planned Parenthood. After the 114th Congressional meeting in 2014 covering federal funding to Planned Parenthood, PPNYC reported the combined total revenue and its subsequent budgeting of funds and compensation. Through research, the tax document breaks down the funding being resourced. 43% is from federal funds for the nonprofit's mission in sexual and reproductive health services and information to the general public. $553.7 million from taxpayer dollars, this being from only a small portion of their total revenue of $1.29 billion. This information was pulled from the 990 forms filed by Planned Parenthood in accordance with the IRS. Unless the citizens happen to reside in the state of Texas, the nonprofit's Texas locations may not accept federal Medicaid funding or any type of private insurance in accordance with the Texas laws for abortion services. This is one of the many challenges Planned Parenthood faces. The reliance on federal grants is a start, but the restrictions placed upon which states may receive funding is of greater importance. Federal restrictions on funds to PPFA are currently pending, but some states also have made it difficult for PPFA to participate in state programs, or have excluded PPFA and PPHCs from receiving funds from state programs. In 2013, Texas excluded PPFA and other abortion providers from its family planning program, the Texas Women's Health Program, and the exclusion of states with their own state laws regarding to the health services it plans to deem unnecessary. Without the necessary funding, the Planned Parenthood nonprofit could result in nationwide shutdowns of clinics and information centers across the U.S.
So question 5 asks, what is a crisis pregnancy center and are they a good alternative to Planned Parenthood? I would like to preface my answer by saying that if you look up crisis pregnancy centers on the internet, the first results that you'll see paint crisis pregnancy centers as places that try to draw women in by making themselves look like abortion providers or medical clinics, but then pressure women not to get an abortion. However, if you dig a little deeper and you actually go to the source, you go to the websites of the nonprofit organizations that support pregnancy centers and the websites of the pregnancy centers themselves, you'll find much more detailed and accurate information about pregnancy centers. So, with that said, crisis pregnancy centers are organizations that work to support and educate women with an unplanned pregnancy. And there are two types. There are licensed and unlicensed pregnancy centers. Licensed pregnancy centers are considered medical clinics, and they usually have a board-certified physician on staff. Being a licensed pregnancy center means that the center can provide medical services such as ultrasounds. Unlicensed pregnancy centers are not considered medical clinics, so they cannot provide medical services except for pregnancy tests. So crisis pregnancy centers can provide free medical resources such as pregnancy tests, ultrasound, and referrals for further women's health services such as an obstetrician to help her monitor her pregnancy. They also provide free educational resources about not only pregnancy and everything that comes with that, but parenting with training on needs that are as tangible as changing a diaper. Next, they provide material resources such as prenatal vitamins, maternity clothing, and then supplies for the baby, such as formula, diapers, wipes, baby clothes, car seats, and the many material needs that come with a baby. Women have access to at crisis pregnancy centers. They also provide referrals for supplemental nutrition programs such as WIC and food stamps, referrals for transportation services, referrals for preliminary Medicaid screening, and referrals for low-cost emergency housing. So they get women in touch with some resources that they may need throughout their pregnancy or after giving birth. They also are going to provide information on adoption. So this includes adoption counseling. A woman can talk to someone knowledgeable about whether adoption is a good option for her. And a woman can attain a referral to adoption agency so she can get in contact with an adoption agency. And finally, crisis pregnancy centers provide counseling services. So as I said, they provide counseling for adoption, also abortion. So they're not going to recommend abortion, but they do provide women with information about what an abortion is, how it's performed, and some of its possible effects. They're also going to provide counseling services on parenting and just support, emotional support for the mother, whether she's had her baby or not. She can talk to a counselor or she can join a support group at some crisis pregnancy centers. The second part of the question asks if crisis pregnancy centers are a good alternative to Planned Parenthood. And as we've seen, crisis pregnancy centers offer numerous resources that support women and babies throughout pregnancy and after giving birth. Thus, I would say that crisis pregnancy centers are not an alternative to Planned Parenthood, but a better option. I say this because crisis pregnancy centers help to meet women's and babies' tangible needs by offering material resources that help women see that caring and supporting a child is doable. Next, crisis pregnancy centers offer training sessions that teach women about pregnancy and parenting. Planned Parenthood does not. Crisis pregnancy centers help women connect with adoption agencies. Planned Parenthood offers little adoption assistance. Crisis pregnancy centers offer counseling and support groups. Planned Parenthood does not. Most of the services offered at crisis pregnancy centers are free, while Planned Parenthood charges for visits and the things that it offers. Crisis pregnancy centers offer information about abortions, but they do not provide abortions or referrals for abortions. So, crisis pregnancy centers provide women with real options, while Planned Parenthood focuses on abortion. So, that's what crisis pregnancy centers do. They strive to support both the mama and her baby.
Six asks, what is the approximate cost of a medical abortion? Now that a woman cannot obtain an abortion in Texas, where could she go and how much would the total trip approximately cost? So according to Planned Parenthood's website, abortions could cost up to $750 in the first trimester, and after the first trimester later on in the pregnancy, it could go up to $1,500. You could go to Colorado, Washington, and New Jersey to get an abortion, and a round trip on a plane from Dallas to Denver varies a little bit differently. It just depends what time of the year you go. But on average, it's close to like $200 to $300.
Hi, my name is Haley, and I also have number 7. For this question, I identified 2 Texas politicians that are very much pro-life, and I found the sources for them. So for Ted Cruz, I got it straight from his website, and he quotes, "Every life is a gift from God, and without life there is no liberty, and that's why I'm proud to stand up and defend life. Today the Supreme Court largely left in place a Texas law that protects life and sends a message that every life is valuable. This is a victory for Texas and the pro-life movement." So Ted Cruz believes that Roe v. Wade being overturned was a victory for him in the pro-life movement. And then John Cornyn, our other U.S. Senator from Texas, I got this from his website as well. He quotes, "Together we will continue to work to ensure that your administration's important pro-life achievements are sustained and the long-standing pro-life protections in the federal law are preserved." So he was talking about the Trump administration, and he basically wrote a letter commending Trump on what he had done for the pro-life effort and the fight to protect life, and that was straight from his website as well.
Question 8 asks us to identify 2 Texas politicians that have been supportive of a pro-choice approach and use one source to explain what they have said and what proposals or laws they have advocated for. So, two pro-choice politicians in Texas are Aaron Zwiener and Jasmine Crockett. Aaron Zwiener is the Texas House Representative for House District 45. According to Zwiener's website, which is titled Aaron for Y'all, Zwiener fought the 6-week abortion ban and other anti-abortion legislation, and she has been endorsed by the Planned Parenthood Texas Votes organization. In an article on the Vote Pro-Choice website titled #Vote Pro-Choice endorses slate of 14 pro-choice, quote, champions in Texas, Zwiener was voted as saying that she is a member of the Texas House Public Health Committee and that as a member of this committee during the last session, she stood firm against the onslaught of anti-abortion bills and was the most vigorous defender of choice on that committee. In the article, Zwiener also stated that she feels that access to abortion is critical for people who have something go wrong with their pregnancy, for people who cannot parent for whatever reason, and for people who simply don't want to parent. Next, Jasmine Crockett is a Texas state representative for District 30. According to the same article by Vote Pro-Choice, Crockett stated that she has fought against every anti-abortion piece of legislation to reach the floor of the Texas House. Her website, which is titled Jasmine for Us, says that Crockett is a vocal fighter against Abbott's 6-week ban. In the article on Vote Pro-Choice, Crockett is quoted as saying that she filed an amicus brief, which is information or arguments that are relevant to a court case, in the Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization Supreme Court case. In the Vote Pro-Choice article, Jackson also stated that she thinks that abortion is an important issue for so many in her district and in the state of Texas.